Hi everyone, hope you all are good. We are here for grade 4 math. You can find all the lessons on aplusstudents.com. You have to you have to log in there using your email address and password as provided by the administrator. Then you have to select math from the subject tab, scroll down to grade 4 math, and then click on view all lessons. There you can find the list of the chapters. We're going to start with the chapter frequency charts, stem and leaf plots, circle graphs. Choose the best type of graph. Please make sure you have your notebook and pencil so that you can note down the important examples and definitions as well. Here I'm on grade 4 math. After we are on lesson. As a part of math lab, as a part of a math lab, Trent tracked the number of times his classmates drew a number between 2 and 8. Which number was drawn the most times? Most of the times. Which number was drawn most of the times? 17, that is the number that is the highest number. So that means the number drawn is 5. So the correct option is 5. Let's just start with the test questions. A theme park developer recorded the number of people who visited the local water park last summer. How many people went to the water park fewer than 2 times? Fewer than 2 times means number of trips is 1 and the frequency is 11. Option number 2 is the correct option. The soccer coach is preparing for the upcoming season by seeing how many goals his team members scored last season. How many team members scored more than 2 goals last session? So more than 2 means we need to add the frequency of 3, 4, and 5. So 10 and 15 is 25 and 4, 29. That is 29. Option number 2 is the correct option. The correct option is 29. Option number 2 is the correct option. Craig records the number of pairs of sandals owned by each of his classmates. How many students own at least 3 pairs of sandals? At least 3 means the minimum value would be 3, the maximum value would be any. So 13 plus 16 is 29. The correct option is that is 29. Minimum value would be 3, maximum value would be any. So just add 16 and 13, that makes 29. Option number 1 is the correct option. A researcher asked people how many letters that had written in the past year and a recorded of the results. How many people wrote exactly 6 letters? Exactly 6 letters. The frequency is 8. Option number 2 is the correct option. A game show program recorded the scores of its contestants. Which score did the fewest people receive? That is 7. The score is 7. That is the fewest. The fewest people had the score 7. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself a little bit. Let me just move on to next lesson. The next question is stem and leaf plots. Brad, who rents properties for a living, measures all the offices in a building he is renting. What is the size of the largest office? The largest size. Here is 4 and here is 9. The largest number you can make by combining the largest stem and largest leaf. So the largest stem is 4 and the largest leaf is 9. So you can make 49. The correct option is the correct option is 49 square feet. That is the size of the largest office. Let's just start with the test questions. Tati counted the number of silver beads on each bracelet at Fairview Jewelry, the store where she works. How many bracelets had fewer than 20 silver beads? How many bracelets had fewer than 20 beads? 20, fewer than 20. Stem 1, you need to count the leaves in front of stem 1. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 leaves. So the correct option is 7. Option number 2 is the correct option. A volunteer for the local running club counted the number of participants at each race. What is the smallest number of participants? So, which is the smallest number? The smallest number you can make by the smallest number, that is 32, with the smallest stem and the smallest leaf. The smallest stem is 3 and the smallest leaf is 2. So that is 32. Option number 1 is the correct option. Professor Wood released the result of yesterday's pop quiz. How many students recorded at least 64 points but fewer than 76 points? Professor Wood, okay. at least 64 points and but fewer than 76, 64. So start with the 6, 10, and 9 because 63 is less than 64 and 76. So we have 1, 2, 3. Like the only score is 69, 72, and only 2. The correct option is 2. Option number 2 is the correct option. Colton counted the number of desks in each classroom at his school. How many classrooms have at least 36 desks? At least 36. Only one. The number that is greater than 36 is 40. So the correct option is 40. The correct option is option number 2. Jason counted the number of words per page in his new book. What is the largest number of words? Thank you. Option number 1 is the correct option. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself. Today, let me just move on to next lesson. The next lesson is circle graphs. What fraction does one section in the circle graph represent? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. The circle has total 11 portions. So that means the correct option is 1 by 11. What fraction does one section in the circle graph represent? That is 1 over 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The circle has total 7 portions. So that is 1 over 7. Option number 1 is the correct option. What fraction does one section in the circle graph represent? That is 1 by 11. Option number 1 is the correct option. Option number 1 is the correct option. That is 1 by 8. The circle has total 8 portions. So the correct option is 1 by 8. Option number 1 is the correct option. What fraction does one section in the circle graph represent? That is 1 by 12. Option number 2 is the correct option. What fraction does one section in the circle graph represent? Which is the correct option? That is 1 over 4. Option number 2 is the correct option. What fraction does one section in the circle graph represent? So, which is the correct option? It's 1 out of 5 because the graph has total 5 portions and each one represent 1 out of 5. What fraction does one section in the circle graph represent? One by two it is. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. And the next lesson is choose the best type of graph. Which is the best type of graph to show the number of tennis balls in 4 different stores if tennis balls comes in containers of 3. The best type of graph to show the number of tennis balls in 4 different stores if tennis balls comes in different containers of 3 is pictograph. It compares two or more values that are multiples of a number. So that means if you are going to compare two or more things, you can use the pictograph, right? Let's just start with the test questions. Which type of graph would best show the population of a city each year for 10 years? So, which is the correct option? That is a line graph because you're not comparing, right? Just representing. So, you can use the line graph. Which is the best type of graph that shows the number of cookies three students baked for class party if there were 10 cookies in each batch. So, which is the correct option? That is again line graph because you just going to represent the values, you're not going to compare them. So that is just the pictograph. Okay, that is pictograph. Which is the best type of graph to show the number of teachers in each school in a city? What is the best type of graph to show the number of teachers in each school in a city? That is line graph. The correct option is option number one. Why bar graph? But you're not comparing number of teachers. You're okay. Yes, that is a comparison. So the correct option is bar graph. Which is the best type of graph that shows the number of red grapes and the number of green grapes in several cups? So you are going to represent two things on the graph, right? Then you can use the double bar graph. Option number two is the correct option. Which is the best type of graph to show the number of pens purchased by each teacher if pens comes in box of 10. That is pictograph. Option number one is the correct option. Which is the best type of graph to show the number of tennis balls in four different stores if tennis balls comes in container of three? The correct option is double bar graph. I think pictograph is because you're going to represent four types of. So then that is pictograph. Which type of graph would you use to show the number of students who went on a field trip and number of students who did not on the field trip in each class? So which is the correct option? Double bar graph it is. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. So we were working on grade 4 math. The chapter we were working on is data and graphs. The lessons we have covered today are frequency charts, stem and leaf plots, cycle graphs. Choose the best type of graph. So please make sure before the next session we can complete all the practice questions for the lesson we just did. That is your homework until next session. So if you need more help with any of the lessons, you can simply click on the live chat button. Tutors are available there to help you, or I think you can write down the question in the chat box. I'm here to answer all your questions and confusions if you have any. No questions? Okay, then bye.